Hi, um, this is Annie Halliwell, and this is the first time I've done anything with this show in a very long time. It's not that I haven't been meaning to. I have. Life and circumstances have somewhat gotten in the way. I've had a good talking to with a few people that told me that what I do is important, and that if I do anything, I should not stop doing this show. Funny thing, they're both English blokes. But this is an extra, so there's no fancy things going on. My show is all about human experience. And I had a human experience. So I'm going to share it. And I'm going to open this up with, I'm not ashamed. And I know it wasn't my fault. And I know I wasn't asking for it. So let's start here. Everyone should know by now that I'm pretty much single. So I take myself out sometimes. And last night I took myself out. Because, frankly, I don't like to be around when my husband's girlfriend is over. So I went out and I drank and I hung out with these really cool people. And then they left. But I was too drunk to go home. Tipsy. So I saw these guys outside smoking. And I went over and I started talking to them. And they seemed really nice. Most strangers are, you know. Like I say, betrayal begins at home. I learned to trust strangers. Well, one of them said, I'll buy you a room because I don't want you driving home like this. So he bought me a room and I started to cry because no one had ever been that nice to me. And I asked, why? Why would you do this? I mean, for a complete stranger. And he said, because, he was being nice. He just didn't want me to drive home drunk. And I was touched, and I started to feel hope for humanity. So I get to my room, and I'm starting to feel comfortable. And I didn't know he had a second key. Now, keep in mind that I never once flirted with this guy. I didn't, there was none of that. If I'm flirting, you know it. I put it on. I'm freaking Mae West, alright? But, I've come on and explained what it's like to have PTSD. I always wondered how I'd react if I lost my freedom of choice again. And, what do you do? Apparently you just react like you did when you were a kid. You know you're not gonna have a choice. So you just let them have their way. And you try to make it better for them so it'll be over soon. And then somebody says to you, that wasn't rape. You enjoyed it. But you didn't. You just wanted it over. Because there was no choice anyway. He was so excited. You know, I posted a thing about beauty being a curse. I don't have to go home alone if I don't want to. Ever. Not ever. And I wanted to. I just didn't want to go home to the situation, you know? But I was so beautiful, he said. I was his first white girl. And it was that important, apparently, that he had me. Ignorant white girl. I was talking later to the other guy, his friend, and he told me about my Grim Reaper, and they're very serious about that. They call it Santa Muerte. They're a saint of death and justice. And I wrote a poem, I mean, just to get something out, because here's the thing. You reach out, you reach out to people you know, and nobody reaches back. Nobody reaches back. So, you're left with paper. It's gotta be a crappy poem. Point is, my house is covered with Santa Muerte. And this guy was convinced that Grim Reaper saved my life. I was in a head-on collision 2 weeks after I got that tattoo, and everyone said I should have died, but I didn't. And he said they wholeheartedly believed. So this man, he should be freaking scared to death, 'cause my house is covered with Santa Muerte. Covered. And there's one with his name on it. Now before you all go freaking out and think that I'm broken, I'm not. I know this wasn't my fault, and I know that I didn't do anything wrong. I know it was just some bastard who happened to be stronger than me. And I knew that I did what I had to survive. And I am not ashamed. I am certainly not ashamed to be a sexual person. It's not going to change who I am. And I'm a naturally trusting person. And I'm empathetic. Perhaps too much so. I walk up to people I think that need me. And I talk to strangers, and people say I'm a good person. I know it's not my fault. So the reason I'm recording this is if you ever find yourself in this situation, no, it's not your fault. Okay? And don't be ashamed. I'm not. I'm just upset that my choice, that my freedom of choice was taken away. And I think that is the most important freedom for somebody. Just the freedom to say yes or no. I don't see why that's too much to ask. Well, kids, this happens to the best of us. So, you're not alone, okay? And none of us did anything wrong. And if perchance you know who you are and you see this, Santa Muerte has hurt me. An ignorant white girl. Good night, kids. And when I come back, we'll talk about more pleasant things like perfume and dating. Not like that's exactly all fun and games, but it's a mixed bag. This is just a real life experience, and that's what I talk about, right? We all have them, and we all have to survive them. And if I can help anyone, that's what I do.